Welcome to the White Hart Pub. It's been a little while since we did Pep's Zoe Yellow 916. It's now quite late, sort of 8:30, 8:45 on a Thursday night in early August, so the light will be a bit different from the video that we did on his. But we've had a little good drive out in the GTV. Hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to subscribe and like and send us all the comments that you can, especially about the engine and the delicious carpets in my car. The 9th of March 2016 is a day that will be permanently engraved on my mind. It's the day that I bought this car, but it's also the day that it nearly broke down 10 miles out of Bristol after I'd just picked it up. Bought it off a car dealer who took it in as a part exchange. When I test drove it, he said, well, the engine management light's on, but we'll get that sorted when you come and pick up the car. He was right, it was off, and when I drove it off, it was absolutely fine. 5 miles up the road, engine management light came on. Having not had a GTV before, or a certain, or a modern Alfa before, I didn't really know what to do. So I pulled in, phoned the AA, they escorted me down the M4 a little bit to the services, checked everything, said, you're gonna be okay, and I went on my way home. Since then, I've had wonderful journeys in this car. I've probably done the thick end of about 50,000 miles in the years that I've owned it. And like a lot of GTVs, it's got different parts on it from other cars. The wing mirrors are off a different car. The gear knobs from a different car. There's all sorts of bits and bobs that are from a different car, but that's how it rolls when you own a GTV or a Spider or an older Alfa. You've got to get your bits from somewhere, and they come from other people's cars. So let's have a little quick look around it. It's a bit flaky, the paint, and the wheels are, okay, they look all right from a distance. It's a bit of a lob wedge car if you're a golfer. From 70 yards, it looks really good. I've not seen many of the twin spark GTVs with the aero spoiler at the front. This one's, again, got a little bit of damage, but I've not seen too many with that. I've seen some V6s, but not the twin sparks. I think the guy who bought this car originally, it's the Lusso spec, it's got the MOMO tan leather. It's absolutely lovely inside, you'll see that in a moment. I just think he ticked all the boxes, but the only thing he couldn't afford was the V6 engine. But fair play to him, because chucking this into corners is a load more fun than chucking the V6 in. I've got the 156 V6, throwing that into a corner is a nightmare, frankly, an absolute nightmare. These are brilliant. So let's go around the GTV a little bit and see what we can see. In this light, the paint probably doesn't look too bad as we're looking at it. So what have we replaced? Door mirrors, they're each different. I recently had to put a screw in the other side, which obviously meant door card off. I think I must have had the door cards off this car 20 times. Darren Careless, thank you very much for the little tip about putting a bit of tape on top of the door pin, because that's the nightmare, trying to fit that through the hole when you're putting it all back in. Window regulators, they've both been swapped. Anyone with the auto drop windows will know that it's an absolute nightmare. 2 months after I bought the car, the window would go down, but then wouldn't go up. So I had a towel over it in the winter to try and keep the weather up. It was a nightmare. So window regulators, they've both been swapped. We come around the back. Is what it is. Got a lovely exhaust. I can't remember who I bought this from, but this deletes one of the silencers around the back, and it gives it a lovely, lovely little note. It's absolutely lovely. Pep, when we did his video, talked about an expensive aerial that he bought. Just in the last few days, mine's decided not to work, and that's where it sticks. Doesn't really matter too much, because ultimately I don't listen to the stereo too much when I'm driving it. I much rather listen to the engine, which is absolutely lovely. So moving a bit more around this side, the paint flake is a bit worse on this side than it is on the other, but again, in this light, I think we're going to get away with it a little bit. This was the mirror that was a bit shaky. It only had 2 of those sort of hex bolts holding it in. Managed to get another one in there, so that's all now really solid. And coming around the front, had this bit of a scuff on it when I bought the car, but you know, so what? I think it was a little bit redder when I bought it. I think the car dealer had put a little bit of overspray on it, but ultimately, this is my GTV, and in the years that I've owned it, I absolutely love it. one of the biggest things I've done to this car, which has made a massive difference. Again, if you're a GTV 916 or a Spider 916 owner, you'll know the original headlights in these cars are absolutely dreadful. I mean, they're worse than candles. I went to Classic Car LEDs, I'll put a link in the description, and bought these. They were expensive, they're about 65 quid I think for the pair, including the sight lights as well. But they make a massive difference, absolutely massive. Literally plug and play, it's the same connector, take your original bulb out, pop this one in, you just clip it in. Yes, there's a little transformer box that sits in there as well, but underneath the engine covers or the covers either side of the headlights, there's plenty of space under there to hide them. So I'd recommend that. Links in the description, go and check them out. So Alfas are all about the engines, as we know, so let's have a little look under the bonnet and see what we've got underneath here. Gave it a bit of love at the weekend, so it was never terrible, but we just sort of gave it a bit of a clean up. So twin spark engine. I challenge you, other car owners from 2002 cars, to find me a better 2-litre engine underneath the bonnet than that. YouTubers, go and show me in the comments, send me some pictures of a better looking engine than that. The Alfa Romeo 2-litre twin spark. 134,000 miles currently on this car. And literally, in lots of places, you could eat your lunch off it. It's not as clean as Pep's, because I spent a lot of time cleaning the engine on his car. I didn't spend as much time as I did on mine. But genuinely, underneath here, it is as original as it comes. Anything that's been replaced in there is all original Alfa Romeo parts. It's all as it came from the factory, totally original, and so far it's been totally reliable. Absolutely fantastic engine, twin spark, what a revelation. Right, well, welcome to the interior of my 2-litre twin spark GTV. The tan leather in this car, the MOMO leather, is extraordinary. It's mostly unmarked. The passenger seat is like no one's ever sat in it. The driver's seat, other than the bolster wear, which I'll show you in a moment, which most of them get, again, is incredible quality. The carpets in here are absolutely lush. Again, when we talked about the engine and a beautifully dressed engine and how good the engine looks, again, YouTubers, all you people, all you car fans out there, show me a car that's got better carpets, that's not a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini or something like that. The carpets in this are extraordinary. When I first bought the car, it had sort of not matching tan, but tan coloured carpets. I didn't like them that much. I much preferred the black ones. So went on the hunt for some black GTV mats, black GTV mats. And eventually found some, and I think they really suit the car with the black door cards and the black dash and the black mats. I think it really sort of sets it all off. Things which I've changed in here, the gear knob was new. I think we all know the gear knobs, the numbers all rub off and they don't look that great and they look a bit scruffy, the leather starts to peel. So had a new gear knob fitted, and again, that really makes a great difference. It had a different stereo in it, so I went looking for an original and managed to find one of those too. I'll be honest, it doesn't work that great, and the speakers are terrible in these cars, as you probably know as well if you own one. But again, that doesn't really matter. It's a case of, for me, can I make it as original as possible? And that stereo was the one that came with this car. I also managed to sell the other one for 50 quid on eBay, so that was quite nice as well. Overall, the condition of the interior of this car is absolutely fabulous. Just last weekend, another door card off moment to replace the tweeter in the passenger door. Again, you know how they clip on, really sort of twisty when they clip on. Sometimes they stay and sometimes they don't. So the tweeter inside the door cards, so there's all manner of masking tape and bits in there to try and keep the speaker in the right place when you then try and put the thing back on and then try and refit the door card without it falling off. But so far, fingers crossed, it's all been okay. The other tweeter on this one, which you probably can't see, I'll show you in a moment, this one's actually just glued on because the little plastic clips that receive it have broken off on the tweeter. I've got a replacement in the glove box, but I'm not taking the door card off again. I'm just not taking the door card off the driver's side of this car. 20 times, I don't know how many times in the time I've had this car, and I still get it wrong, put the wrong bolt in the roll hole, and you end up taking all the bolts out again because you have to refit it, and it's a bloody nightmare. But that's the interior of the GTV. For a 21-year-old car, absolutely outstanding.